Hello everyone, I'm Devin, and today I'll be covering how to create a React application using the create React app command. I will also be covering how to install Node.js and the npm package that we required to get this React application running. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and install Node.js on my system. In my case, I'm using Ubuntu, but I have found this GitHub repo that explains how to install on a bunch of operating systems, and I found it very useful. So I'll link that in the description and you can follow the instructions on there. In my case, I will be doing version 12 on Ubuntu. So once you find your own instructions, you can go ahead and copy the first command. Go ahead and paste it onto your terminal. What this command is doing is it's curling to node source version 12. So currently the stable version is 12. I'd say stable because it's the one recommended for most users. Depending on what version of Node.js you're running, you can get differing errors on compilation whenever you're using certain packages that require either an older or newer version of Node.js. So to avoid most of those bugs, you can go ahead and download the most stable version of Node.js. In my case, it's 12.18.3. So we can go ahead and go back to the terminal, press enter on that, and it's going to start downloading everything that you need. The next command you're going to be using is app.get install. So what this is doing is installing Node.js, and you specified the version that you wanted above that. So just go ahead and paste this, press enter, and it'll start downloading the version of Node.js. So once that's done, we now should have, I'm gonna go ahead and clear my terminal. We now should have Node installed, and you can check your version by doing node -- version. As you can see here, mine is 12.18.3. So 12.18.3. Again, I'll leave this link down in the description so you can go ahead and follow the instructions there. The next thing we're going to be installing now that we have Node is create React app, and this is what you're here for, right? So create React app is downloaded using npm, and npm already comes pre-installed when you download Node. As you can see here, if you type in npm, you get the usage for the command. What we're going to be doing is doing sudo npm install -g for global create React app. So -g just specifies to npm that you want to install it on your actual system. So go ahead and press enter on that, and it should start installing create React app. I've already had it installed before, but here you'll get like a usage. So once you do that, you can go ahead and clear your terminal and go ahead and use the command. So do create React app, and then the second parameter would be the title you want to give to your project. So in my case, it's going to be YouTube tutorial. Go ahead and press enter on that. This is going to start running a bunch of things, and once it's done, I'll explain what happened during this installation. Once the installation is done, as you can see here, it started to download React DOM, React scripts, and a bunch of other things that help the command run. In my case, I got a high vulnerability, but that was because I don't have Git installed at the moment, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. But after this, it gives you a couple of instructions that you can run to get your project running. So as you can see at the very bottom, it says we suggest that you begin by typing. So you go ahead and do cd, the name of your directory. Go ahead and get into that, and then do npm start. Once this command is done running, you can actually see that it opens up a development server on your terminal, and it also opens up another tab on your browser. So here it will give you instructions to edit your source app.js, save it, and reload it to see the changes. So I'm just going to go ahead and open my Visual Studio. Go ahead and full screen this. Open folder, the name of your directory, and then go ahead and open source app.js, and then in here you can delete all this stuff within the first div. You can add an h1 hello world. As you can see, everything went away from here, and now you can start making your own changes to this. So this is the part of the tutorial where I will show you how I structure my own personal projects, and it just makes things easier for me. So if you want to stick around for that, we're going to go ahead and do that right now. First things first, I like to delete this whole source directory. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this whole thing. I'm going to create another directory called source. I'm just going to replace it with the old one. I'm going to go into public. I'm going to delete these icons, not the index. So these PNGs and that icon. I'm actually going to leave this JSON file because it helps with the sizing of your icons if you want to add a personal one. In here, if this is your first time using Create React App, I'd suggest you read this, but I like to remove these comments just to make the size of the file a little smaller and cleaner. So I like to remove these comments. I also like to remove this logo PNG because I won't need it. I like to comment on my manifest.json file because I won't be using it right now. I like to delete this meta. I also want to comment this icon link up here. Go ahead and leave the viewport, the name, theme color, and last thing I like to do is change the title. So YouTube example, and if you go back to your browser, you'll get a compilation error right now because we deleted the whole source directory. But if you look up here, you can see the YouTube example title on the tab has changed. So next thing, after we do that, we're done with the public for now. I'm going to leave this open because I have something to show you. Next thing you want to do is create a new file called index.js and another file called app.js and one last file called app.css. Inside of this index, this is where your project will be compiled and placed on the actual browser. So to do this, I'm going to import React from React. I'm going to import React DOM from React DOM. I'm going to import my app from my app.js file that we created earlier. And this is all you need to import, but now we're actually going to place it on the browser. To do this, we use the React DOM. We do .render and we place our component in there. And now we have to target a element by ID. To do this, we can just do document dot get element by ID, and then we target the root. So I'm actually going to explain what's happening here. So remember this index.html file we saw earlier? In here, inside of your body, you have a div with an ID of root. In here, in the index.js file, we are rendering our app component, which we imported from the app.js file, and we're rendering that to the element by ID of root. So we're getting the element by ID of root. So that's where it's being placed inside of this div. So that's that for that index.js file. We can go ahead and close that. And we can also go ahead and close index.html. I'm going to go ahead and separate these, app.js and app.css. In the app.js file, this is where your code and your whole application will live. Of course, you can also separate it into different files. That's the main objective of React, is to create reusable code. But for now, this is where everything is going to be. So first and foremost, we want to do import React from React. And then we also want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and create a little comment right here. Styling import, and this is where we, of course, import our app.css. As you can see here, now we have linked this file to our app.js, and we can use that for styling, as you can see here. And last thing we need to do is export a default function and return a div with an h1 or whatever you want in here. And it'll just say hello world. Inside of this h1, I'm going to change the color of it just to show you that linking our styling actually worked. I'm going to give it a class name of header color. in our app.css file, now we can go ahead and create this class, which we named header color, and we can change the color to blue. Now that this is done, we can go back to Chrome, and as you can see, you still have the same compilation error, but if you go back to your terminal, go ahead and close that development server and restart it. Now you can see that the development server doesn't have any errors, and we've also created this Hello World H1 with coloring on it. So that's the gist of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I will be doing more videos on this YouTube channel. They'll be ranging from creating a portfolio website to creating more simple and beginner friendly videos. The next video I'll be uploading on this channel will be how to create a full stack React application. What this means is that it's going to have a database, it's going to have a server, and it's going to have a front end, and all of that will be covered in that video. So stay tuned. That might be a series of videos depending on how long it takes me to create the whole thing. But just check on the channel, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and stay tuned for the rest of these videos. Thank you.